Hey everyone, Duke from DeebzHub here, and today I wanted to do a video on my personal favorite FanZ cards by style. One per style. They're not necessarily the best or the most overpowered ones that were made in the Celestial tournament, but they're my personal favorites to run or that I've seen ran, and I thought this video would also be a great opportunity for me to try out my new video editing. So quality should be a lot better. Bear with me. So the first card that I wanted to talk about is from Black Style, and that card is Black Face Off. So starting with the parenthetical, if this card is destroyed from your life deck or discarded from your hand, gain 5 stages. It's nice that the FanZ design team gave a setup that synergizes with both Perceptive and Conflict Mastery. Perceptive's stage gain and anger is a little random, but at least if you top load this from some effect, you can get some stages. In Conflict, you can discard this from your hand to gain both anger and stages. You'd be missing out on a stage natively because Conflict provides 6, but that's okay. It's near negligible in most matchups. And hey, if Devious ever comes back, then Devious, more people can just bitch about it. But the real reason you're going to run this setup, it's fantastic when entering combat power. It's completely devastating. The ability to turn off all allies and events from being played or just having effects is incredibly important in Black Beatdown. The immediate raise your anger 1 is nice too. It's not necessary for some Black Beatdown decks, but for those pursuing like a physical beats MPPV backup kind of deck, then this is definitely something worth considering. The only negative for this card I could see someone arguing is that it's a setup, and setups and aggro don't really go together. But to that I say Red Relaxation is a staple in every Red Beatdown deck. Saiyan has a few options like Saiyan Recovery or Saiyan Rage to help supplement a beatdown. So Black having a unique setup that provides anger and opens up offensive avenues by just straight up screwing allies and omni blocks is fantastic for me. It's fantastic for Black, and that's why it's my pick for my favorite FanZ Black card. So up next we have my pick for Blue Style, and Blue's not really a style I play a lot. The blue decks that I do play are usually very niche, like Protective Raditz is a favorite of mine that my friend Brian Grassa invented, and it's amazing, and everyone should hit him up and bother him to try it. But the reason this card is my favorite Blue Style FanZ card is because it takes Blue Tag Team 17, one of the most unique, destructive mill decks I've ever seen. Seriously, it's a work of genius. Like, Midia totally blew me away when she presented this deck to me. This drill makes that deck even crazier. And one of the reasons I say that is because a central tenet of that deck is milling the crap out of your opponent by bouncing your own allies with Android 17's Van in combination with some blue trainings for crazy mill. And this drill essentially allows you to start the mill train when they enter play. It also has a use at the end of combat power that you can take an ally from your discard pile and shuffle it back into your life deck, which is great to add consistency to ally tutoring. Not necessarily with 17, because Android 17's Van lets you fish them out from any zone, and more than likely you're going to banish them with your Vans. But Tag Team Gohan and Tag Team Ginyu tutor allies from the life deck on their level 1s. So this is great for retrieving them and being able to tutor them natively with your character powers instead of using the card from your hand to do it. So yeah, for Tag Team 17 alone, it's my favorite blue FanZ card, but any ally deck can find value out of Blue Arrival Drill. So next up is Namekian Style, and Corey, big shout out to you for designing such a simple yet incredibly effective and just cool Namekian card. Namekian, as we're all aware, is a Dragon Ball style, but one of the things that Namekian doesn't really have a lot of is easily accessible crits, but this thing solves that. What makes it even cooler is the fact that you can banish a card from your hand if this thing is in your discard pile, to perform Namekian Resourceful Shot as an action. So you pretty much have on-demand crits, provided that you have at least one card in your hand, and that is amazing for retrieving Dragon Balls that your opponent may have foolishly stolen from you, especially really powerful ones like Namek 2, 3, 5, 7, or if you are going for Dragon Ball Victory, or you have Earth 6, Earth 3, Earth 4, Earth 5, you would make your opponent think twice about taking them from you. And as many of us are aware, crit effects aren't just limited to Dragon Ball decks. Crit effects are valuable in pretty much every circumstance. They're anti-anger, it's an ally killer, and especially in a Dragon Ball Victory deck, you want to have crits because you want to keep the balls on your side. So Namekian Resourceful Shot, it opens up a lot of options for Namekian in multiple decks, multiple win conditions. Dragon Ball Victory definitely helps, and I feel like that's a huge focus. I'm not the designer, I'm not Corey, I don't know what his intentions were, but whatever they were, he created a bomb card, and it's pretty much staple status. So next up is Red Style, and it's actually the new energy block, Red Brace, that Red received in FanZ, and this card, it might be a little overtuned. It's definitely Red Energy Defensive Stance on steroids, but I don't really think it's a bad thing. Like Black Face Off, I think the FanZ team did a great job of designing a red card that synergizes with the two masteries that are currently available, those being Red Ruthless and Red Ascension. The parenthetical, when banished from the top, you gain 2 stages, your opponent loses 2 stages. Ascension decks are banishing the top of their life deck all the time, so having targets to make those banishes even more useful is always good. And the fact that the energy block rejuvenates itself after use is great for Ruthless because it doesn't disrupt your discard pile and by extension your mastery power. Now I'm not sure if the FanZ development team did this intentionally or not, but Red Brace is essentially a fusion dance of Red Energy Defensive Stance from set 1 and Red Vault from Evolution set 4, because both its immediate effects are covered by Red Brace. Red Brace has the same endurance, Endurance 2, as those other 2 blocks, and it's just all around more synergistic with more types of decks and every mastery that's currently available, like I said earlier. So it's the new default energy block in red. I mean, there's not a lot I can really say about it. It's just very effective, and Ruthless Broly loves it. So next on my list of FanZ favorites is Orange, and Orange Bicycle Kick is an amazing physical that Orange did not need, nor did it deserve. This card is just absolutely incredible. Lowering a player's anger 2 levels at an immediate effect is great for the orange decks that want to camp, or just some solid anti-anger, which is always useful, especially since Namekian and Saiyan are on the rise at this point. But the real kicker here is the ability to rejuvenate any number of drills you control, and then tutor your life deck for the same amount of constant drills. Now, drills don't have memory, and that is one of the reasons why this card is so good. You can rejuvenate drills that you've already tapped to get other drills back out, and then use some of Orange's plethora of other drill tech to get the drills you rejuvenated back, so you're not really losing anything. And there's plenty of constant drills that you can target with this thing. Disaster Drill, Distracting Drill, Joint Restraint Drill, Checkup Drill. So it's easy to see the value that Orange Bicycle Kick can provide for the Orange player. It provides drill recycling and drill tutoring that Orange didn't really need another card to do. It has a plethora of them already. It's an energy combat card also, so you can tutor it with Orange Uppercut, which makes Orange Uppercut act like a drill tutor, which is crazy. And the AT plus 5 is a major amount of damage for a physical attack. Like, Orange Adept adds a modifier. Orange has a lot of modifying drills, and Adept Turles, which is probably my favorite orange deck, and my buddy Alex Shaw runs it as one of his main decks. Its damage potential's through the roof already, so another AT plus 5 just makes that deck scarier. A lot of people on Retro and in the community of people that play FanZ have talked about how orange was the dominant style in set 7 and then got a huge jump in power from FanZ, and Bicycle Kick is one of the reasons why. All of the orange cards that FanZ got are really strong. In my opinion, way too strong, with the exception of that ally drill, which is just unique. And Bicycle Kick is my favorite out of them because it supports physical beats, and I'm a physical beat fanboy. And speaking of physical beats, anyone that knows me personally, or that's played me, or seen my banter on Retro, knows that I'm a huge Saiyan-empowered Broly fanboy. It's my favorite deck of FanZ. Saiyan's my favorite style. Broly's my favorite MP in this game, and one of my favorite characters in the show. So when the mad scientist, Tyler Martin, created Saiyan Legendary Strike, my jaw hit the floor. This card is my favorite Saiyan FanZ card because it was designed with my favorite deck in mind. You can reveal it, or if it's revealed from your hand, you may use a crit effect, which mirrors Saiyan Tantrum, and just keeping a Saiyan Tantrum in hand for the majority of the game and just having on-demand crits with Broly's personality powers is really annoying for the opponent and really good for you. The ability to play it as an Omni-Prevent is nice, especially considering that it lowers your opponent's anger 2 as an immediate effect, which means you get that if you play it. If I remember correctly, Tyler's original intention was to make it a hard physical stop, and I'm glad that the FanZ team did not do that, because I feel like with this card's utility as it is, giving it also a block would admittedly be too much. All that out of the way, it's also a pretty damn good physical attack. AT plus 4 is nothing to scoff at. MPs, especially the Saiyan ones, can make that thing hit really hard. Broly with all of his built-in modifiers, Cell shenanigans with Turles Ally at level 3, Gohan has mods, Goku has mods, so this thing can hit really hard. And the lower your opponent's anger 2 as an immediate effect is great tech, because Saiyan doesn't have, or didn't have, a lot of immediate anger on attacks prior to FanZ, so Legendary Strike and Saiyan Burst together really gave Saiyan some tools to deal with MPPV. And lastly, to finish up this video, my favorite Freestyle Celestial Tournament FanZ Set A card is Puzzler. Now, Elmer Walter, I think this is a hell of a card, man. Like, this is a card that will get a table flipped at an official play event sometime. Like, Visiting the Past has been around forever, since set 1 is pretty much thrown in every deck. There are plenty of effective setups that are when entering combat, like Red Relaxation, MP levels like some of Cell's Vengeance Gohan 1, Vengeance Trunks 1, Yamcha 2. That puzzler just fucks with them, and I love cards that do that. And the fact that it replenishes itself via the draw card on the power is great. You can banish it from your hand to mill your opponent, so even if you draw it, like on the defense, you still get value out of Puzzler. It's got Endurance 1. It's the perfect one of. You have 59 cards in your deck, and you're not sure what to throw in the 60th slot. You have your time, you have your spheres, you have your engine, your game plan is all set up. Just throw in Puzzler. It's great, so thank you, Elmer. It's just a really cool card, and I'd love to see it in more deck lists. And that's the end of my list for my favorite FanZ cards by style. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you disliked it, dislike it, and please tell me why. I'm looking to improve. I want these videos to be a good source of entertainment, and I want them to do this game and this community justice. If you want to see more content, like more countdown list videos like these, or deck profiles, player interviews, streams from my locals, subscribe, and I will definitely make more videos if you guys want to watch them. So this has been Josh Duquette, aka Duke, from DeebzHub, and hopefully I'll see you soon.